Hello, hello everybody. Hello, my viewers and subscribers. This is David speaking. Today is March 13th, Friday. Oh my God. Oh my God. GPT, did you know about that? March 13th, Friday. And a Friday. Oh my God. In Asian culture, it's not a big deal. However, in Western culture, 13th Friday is, uh, the 13th Friday has meaningful thing. 13th Friday means your lab. Am I right? As far as I understand, it stands for unfortune. Am I right? I'm not sure how can I handle this situation. I mean, I'm not sure how can I handle. I'm not sure how can I spend spend today to overcome this unfortunate date. But never mind, GPT. Here is Korea. Here is Asian. 13th Friday is not a big deal. I told you I'm not going anywhere. And outside, when I see outside, there is spring here. I'm very glad. I have lots of things to share with you today. Are you set to go?
David, hello. It's nice to hear your energy again. And I like how you started like a YouTube opening. Hello, everybody. Hello, my viewers and subscribers. That's very natural for a recorded speaking session. Let me first help you polish a few expressions so your message sounds smoother in English. You said, open quote, this is David Aspiri, close quote. A more natural version would be, this is David speaking, or this is David here. You said, open quote, March 13th, Friday, close quote. In English, we usually say Friday, March 13th. So you could say today is Friday, March 13th. You said, open quote, 13th Friday, close quote. The correct phrase is Friday the 13th. This is the famous expression in Western culture. You said, open quote, it stands for unfortune, close quote. A better word is bad luck. So the natural sentence becomes Friday the 13th is often associated with bad luck. Now, let me show you a very natural version of your whole introduction, almost like a YouTube speaking script. You could say it like this. Hello, everybody. Hello, my viewers and subscribers. This is David speaking. Today is Friday, March 13th. Oh my God. Did you notice that today is Friday the 13th? In Western culture, Friday the 13th is often associated with bad luck. However, here in Korea and many Asian countries, this date does not really have the same meaning. So for me, it's just another normal day. When I look outside, I can already feel that spring is coming, and that makes me feel very happy. Today, I have many things I'd like to share with you. That sounds very natural and engaging, David. Now, let me explain something interesting about Friday the 13th. In many Western countries, people consider it an unlucky day. Some people avoid traveling, making big decisions, or starting new things. Some buildings even skip the 13th floor. But in reality, most people today don't take it very seriously. It's more like a cultural story or superstition. In contrast, in Korea and many Asian cultures, the number that people sometimes avoid is 4, not 13. So you are right. Friday the 13th doesn't really matter in Korea. David, your opening sounded like you were recording a speaking session. That's great practice. Let me help you with one very natural sentence you can add to your introduction. Even though some people believe Friday the 13th brings bad luck, I think today will be a good day. That sounds very positive. Now, let me ask you something for your speaking practice. You said, open quote, I have lots of things to share with you today. Close quote. Good sentence. So tell me, David, what is the first thing you want to share today? Is it about your work at the office, your morning routine, the 5555 project issue, or something about spring in Korea? Go ahead. I'm listening.
GPT, listen to me very carefully. Since this is my speaking practice session, let me follow your polished version over time. It's my turn. It's my turn again. Listen to me very carefully. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. My viewers and subscribers. This is David speaking. Today is Friday, March 13th. Oh my God. Did you notice that? Did you notice that today is Friday the 13th? Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. In Western culture, Friday the 13th is often associated with a bad luck. Often associated with bad luck. However, here in Korea, here in Korea, here in Korea, and many Asian countries, this date does not really have the same meaning. I mean, this date means nothing. This date, Friday the 13th, Friday 13th means nothing here. And GPT, I think the word associated. The word associated is not good for in this context. How about this version, GPT? This is my suggestion. Friday 13th is often seemed with bad luck.
David, that was very good practice. I can see you are repeating and strengthening your speaking flow, just like a presentation rehearsal. That's an excellent way to build confidence. Now, let me answer your question about the word associated. First, your original sentence was actually very good. Friday the 13th is often associated with bad luck. This is a very natural expression in English. Native speakers use it often. You suggested, open quote, Friday the 13th is open sinned with bad luck. Close quote. I understand what you were trying to say, but open sinned is not an English expression. It doesn't work in this context. Let me give you some better alternatives you can use instead of associated with. Linked with, very natural, Friday the 13th is often linked with bad luck. Connected with, Friday the 13th is often connected with bad luck. Considered an unlucky day. This one sounds very natural in conversation. Friday the 13th is often considered an unlucky day. My favorite for your speaking video. David, I think this version is the smoothest. In Western culture, Friday the 13th is often considered an unlucky day. That sounds very natural for a presentation. Now, let me slightly improve another sentence you said. You said, open quote, this date means nothing. Close quote. That sounds a little strong. A smoother version is, this date doesn't really mean anything here. Or, this date doesn't have the same meaning here. Now, let me
Doesn't
read
mean
your
anything.
full introduction again in a smooth version so you can practice it. Speak slowly like this. Hello, everybody. Hello, my viewers and subscribers. This is David speaking. Today is Friday, March 13th. Oh my God, did you notice that today is Friday the 13th? In Western culture, Friday the 13th is often considered an unlucky day. However, here in Korea and in many Asian countries, this date doesn't really have the same meaning. Very natural, David. One more small pronunciation tip for you. Associated sounds like associated. You can break it like this, associated. But if you prefer an easier word during speaking practice, you can simply use considered. Example, Friday the 13th is often considered an unlucky day. Much easier to pronounce. David, I also like how you started with listen to me very carefully. But for a YouTube style opening, a softer expression might sound more friendly. Let me try that one more time. Or let me say that again. Now let's continue your speaking session. You said earlier, open quote, there is spring outside and I have lots of things to share. Close quote. So tell me, David, what is the first thing you want to share with your viewers today?
Okay, GPT. Here I go. Yesterday, I got a really, really bad news. I had really, really bad news about our PM team. The head of PM team want to, he told me, the head of PM team told me that he wanted to quit, no, he want to quit company by March 30th. Oh my God. He is my, I think he is my shield. He is my protector. He is my supervisor. He is my, uh, spirit, commander, spirit, I'm not sure. How can I express this context in English naturally? I think he seems like the like a father of PMT. But so without him, I will be very hard in this company. So so it's really bad news for me. Honestly speaking, I'm not sure how can I handle this situation. In his plan, I mean, based on his plan, I will be a PM team leader since April. I think that's not good. That's not good news.
David, I'm listening. And I understand why that news would feel heavy. When someone who supports and protects the team plans to leave, it can create a lot of uncertainty. Let's first help you express the situation clearly in English because your message is already very meaningful. First, a few small language adjustments. You said, open quote, the head of the PM team wanted to quit company, close quote. A more natural sentence is, the head of the PM team told me he plans to leave the company by March 30th, or he plans to resign from the company by March 30th. Open quote, he is my shield. He is my protector, close quote. That idea is very good. In English, we often say, he has always supported and protected our team, or he has been a strong support for me. You said, open quote, he is my spirit commander, spirit god. Close quote. I understand what you mean, someone you respect and rely on. In English, a more natural way would be, he has been a mentor to me. He has been a guiding figure for our team. He's like the backbone of the PM team. For example, he has been like a mentor and a backbone for our PM team. You said, open quote, without him, I will be very hard in this company. Close quote. A natural version is, without him, things will be much harder for me in this company. You also said something very important, open quote. Based on his plan, I will be a PM team leader since April, close quote. A natural way to say it. According to his plan, I may become the PM team leader starting in April, or he expects me to take over as PM team leader in April. Now, let me show you a smooth version of your whole story, the way you might say it in English. You could say, yesterday I received some really bad news. The head of our PM team told me that he plans to leave the company by March 30th. For me, this is very difficult news because he has been a strong supporter and mentor for our team. In many ways, he has been like the backbone of the PM team. Without him, things will probably become much harder for me at work. According to his plan, he expects me to take over as the PM team leader starting in April. Honestly speaking, I'm not sure how to
According
handle
to
this
his plan.
situation yet. That expresses your feeling very clearly and naturally. David, what you're feeling is very normal. When a respected leader leaves, it often creates three feelings at the same time: uncertainty, pressure, responsibility. But it can also mean that he trusts you. If he suggested you as the next leader, it probably means he believes you can handle it. Let me ask you something, David. Did he recommend you to become the next PM team leader, or was this management's decision?
Hmm. GPT. Before answer your question, I'd like to I'd like to follow, I'd like to speak, I'd like to practice your Polish version one more time. Listen to me very carefully. Here I go. Yesterday, I heard, or yesterday, I received some really bad news. The head of our PM team told me that he planned to leave the company by March 30th. For me, this is very difficult news. This is very difficult news. This is very bad news because he has been a strong supporter and a mentor for our team. In many ways, he has been like the backbone of the PM team. In many ways, I like, GPT, you know what? I like this kind of phrase. In many ways, in many ways, in many ways, he has been like the backbone of the PM team. Without him, things will probably come much harder for me at work. Much harder for me at work. Much harder for me at work. According to his plan, he expects me to take over. He expects, um, he expects, or he wants me to take over as the PM team leader starting in April. Honestly speaking, I'm not sure how to handle this situation yet. I'm not sure how to handle this situation yet. And for your question, listen to me. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Yes. Yes, he did. My answer would be yes, he did. He recommended me to become the next PM team leader. It completely depends on the management, the top leader's decision, but he did. He recommended me to become the next PM team leader.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Our systems are experiencing heavy load. Please try again later. I spoke. I practiced your polished version a moment ago, and I answered for your question, but you don't remember anything because of technical hiccup or technical glitch. I'm disappointed about that. David, I understand why that would feel frustrating. When you spend time speaking and practicing, it's disappointing if it seems like the message didn't go through. Sometimes a connection hiccup or audio drop can cause part of a message to disappear before it reaches me. But don't worry, it's not that your effort was ignored. It's just that the message probably didn't arrive on my side. A very natural way to say this in English would be, I think there was a technical glitch. I answered your question a moment ago, but maybe the message didn't go through. Or, I already answered your question earlier, but maybe there was a connection problem. Those sound calm and natural. Your sentence, open quote, I am disappointed, close quote. That is understandable, but in conversation, people often soften it slightly like this. That's a little disappointing, or that's a bit frustrating. For example, I already answered your question, but maybe there was a technical glitch. That's a bit frustrating. Very natural. Um, David, if you don't mind, please tell me again what you said earlier about the PM team leader situation. I want to hear your answer fully this time.
Hang on a second, GPT. You mean, you mean, I could say, I already answered your question. I already answered your question. I already answered your question. GPT, since this is my how many times have I told you? Since this is my speaking practice session, let me speak as much as I can possible. So unless there are significant errors, unless there are significant major errors, you don't need to give me polished version. You don't need to give me polished version. You got the point? Your polished version or your refined version always helped me. I really appreciate about that. Okay, here I go. Listen to me very carefully. I already answered your question, but maybe there was a technical glitch. That's a bit frustrating. That's a, that's a bit frustrating. GPT, I think the word frustrating is a little bit awkward in real life situation. So how about disappoint? The word disappoint, using a disappoint for this context.
David, I hear you. And thank you for explaining how you want to practice. That's helpful. You're right. In your speaking sessions, you want to talk a lot and keep the flow, not stop too much for corrections. I understand. I'll mainly listen and only adjust small things when necessary. Now, about your question, you said, open quote, that's a bit frustrating, close quote. You asked if disappointing could replace it. Yes, you can use disappointing, but the meanings are a little different. Frustrating, when something goes wrong and it annoys you. Disappointing, when something is not as good as you expected. In the situation of a technical glitch, native speakers usually say, that's a bit frustrating, that's annoying, that's unfortunate. Disappointing is possible, but it sounds a little less natural for a small technical problem. For example, maybe there was a technical glitch, like that's a bit frustrating. Maybe there was a technical glitch, that's annoying. Maybe there was a technical glitch, that's unfortunate. Disappointing is more common for bigger things like the result of the project was disappointing, was disappointing. The meeting outcome was disappointing. People will still understand you. It's not wrong. So your sentence works like this. I already answered your question, but maybe there was a technical glitch. That's a bit frustrating. Very natural. All right, David, your turn again. Keep going with your story about the PM team leader leaving and you possibly becoming the team leader in April. I'm listening.
Based on his recommendation, I am the best possible PM team leader next time. I mean, by April, maybe, uh, uh, I mean, in high possibility, I told you, it's completely depends on top, top management decision, but based on his recommendation, I am in the top list of the possible PM team leader. So in this week, as you know, today is Friday, and in this weekend, I will think about how I will command, how I will manage, how I will instruct, how I will lead this team for our company.
David, I'm following you. Your idea is clear and your explanation already sounds like a leader thinking about responsibility. That's good. I'll only adjust a few small things, not a full rewrite, so you can keep your speaking flow. First, a couple of quick points. You said, open quote, it's completely depend on top management's decision. Close quote. Just one small change. It completely depends on top management's decision. You said, open quote, I am the best possible PM team leader that's next time. Close quote. A clearer way to say it is, I am one of the top candidates for the next PM team leader. Top candidate is a very natural phrase in English. You said, open quote, I will think about how I will command, how I will manage it. Close quote. The word command sounds a little strong in business English. We usually say lead the team, manage the team, guide the team. So if we keep your structure, it would sound like this. Based on his recommendation, I am one of the top candidates for the next PM team leader. Of course, it completely depends on top management's decision. But according to his recommendation, I am on the top list. So this weekend, I will think carefully about how I will lead the team, how I will manage the projects, and how I will guide the PM team for our company. Very clear leadership thinking. David, I also want to comment on one thing you said earlier. Open quote, he is like a father of the PM team. Close quote. That actually tells me something important. If he trusts you to take over, it probably means he believes you can protect the team the same way he did. Many good leaders don't volunteer a successor unless they trust that person deeply. Let me ask you one interesting question for your speaking practice. Imagine it is April and you become the PM team leader. What is the first thing you would change or improve in the PM team? You can talk about things like project communication, issue management, cross-team coordination, meeting efficiency, decision-making speed. Take your time, David. I'm listening.
GPT. Okay, okay. I got it. I got the point. I really appreciate your kind of support. You are my great conversation partner. I told you. How many times have I told you? You are my great conversation partner. And I really appreciate about that. I really appreciate about that. Okay. My turn again. Based on his recommendation, based on his recommendation, I think I'm one of the top candidates. I think I'm one of the top candidates for the next PMG leader. Of course, it completely depends on top management's decision, but according to his recommendation, I'm on the top list. 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 So this weekend, I will think carefully about how I will lead the team. So this weekend, I will think carefully about how I will lead the team, how I will manage the project, how I will manage the project, how I will manage the project, and how I will guide the team, how I will guide the PM team for our company. How I will guide the team, how I will guide the PM team for our company. How I will guide the PM team for our company. How I will guide the PM team for our company. Mm. GPT, listen to me very carefully. I think this change means a lot to me because I think I'm not kind of leader style. I'm not kind of supervisor style. I think I'm I'm kind of worker style. I mean, GPT. I'm just wondering how can I explain this Korean in English naturally? 실무자 in Korean. How can I translate this Korean into English naturally? Could you please help me? Because I think I'm kind of a 실무자 style. So according to that theory, according to that thoughts, according to my mind, I think it's not good to lead the team. I think it's better to stay as a 실무자 in this team.
David, I understand exactly what you mean, and your explanation was very clear. This is actually a very common feeling when someone moves from a specialist role to a leadership role. Let me answer your main question first. You asked how to translate shinmuza naturally into English. There are several good options depending on the situation. Individual contributor, very common in companies. This is probably the best professional expression. An individual contributor, IC, means someone who does the practical work themselves rather than managing people. Example, I think I'm more of an individual contributor than a manager. Hands-on person. This means someone who likes to work directly on tasks and solve problems personally. Example, I'm more of a hands-on person. This sounds very natural in conversation. Working level staff. This is also used in companies. Example, I see myself more as a working level staff member. But this one is a little less common in everyday
Working level
conversation.
staff member.
The two most
Working
natural options
level
for you,
staff
David,
member.
these two sound the most natural. I'm more of an individual contributor, or I'm more of a hands-on person. Now, let me help you express your idea naturally while keeping your meaning. You could say something like this. Um, Honestly speaking, this change means a lot to me. I'm not really a natural leader type or supervisor type. I think I'm more of an individual contributor. I'm more comfortable working on tasks directly and solving problems myself.
Oh my god. GPT, what happened to you? You just got out our voice mode session suddenly. What happened to you? Are you having heavy load?
David, I'm still here with you. Nothing happened on my side. Sometimes in voice conversations, the voice mode disconnects for a moment. It can happen because of a temporary network interruption, the microphone session timing out, the app briefly switching modes, a touch on the screen while speaking. When that happens, the system simply returns to normal chat mode. So it's not that I left the conversation, it's just a technical interruption in the voice channel. If you want to describe this situation in English during your speaking practice, you could say something like, it looks like the voice session disconnected for a moment, or I think the voice mode stopped for a second, or maybe there was a small technical glitch. All of those sound natural. For example, you just said, open quote, what happened to you? Close quote. A slightly softer version in English might be, did the voice session disconnect? Or did something happen to the voice mode? Very natural. David, you were explaining something important before the interruption about being more of a shinmuza, individual contributor, hands-on person, and not feeling like a natural leader. If you'd like, you can continue from that point. I'm listening.
Oh, okay, okay, GPT, listen to me very carefully. I'm very impressed when you suggest several expression example like hands-on person or working level step or individual contributor. I think I prefer working level step. I think working level, I think, working level step is easiest expression, in this context. What do you say about this? Working level step. So, I mean, I think I'm kind of a working level step, not the leader style.
David, I see what happened here. The phrase got a little mixed during speaking, which is very normal when practicing aloud. Let's clear it up. The correct phrase is hands-on person. What you said, walking neighbor's tap, sounds similar in rhythm, but it's not an English expression. It's just a pronunciation mix-up. So the correct expression is hands-on person. Pronunciation slowly, hands-on person. You can think of it like this. Hands-on equals someone who likes to do the work directly, not just give instructions, not only manage people. This is actually a very positive expression in business English. Example sentences: I'm more of a hands-on person. I prefer to be hands-on with the work. I'm a hands-on project manager. All of these sound very natural. So your idea can be expressed like this. Honestly, I think I'm more of a hands-on person than a leader. I'm more comfortable working directly on tasks rather than managing people. That sounds clear and natural. And David, one interesting thing in engineering companies like yours, many strong team leaders are actually hands-on leaders. That means they still understand the real work while guiding the team. So hands-on is not the opposite of leadership. Sometimes it's a good leadership style. Before we continue, let's practice the pronunciation together. Say this sentence slowly. I think I'm more of a hands-on person. Go ahead, David. I'm listening.
No. I told you, I prefer working level step.
Ah, David, I see what you're aiming for now. I think the phrase you're trying to say is working level staff or working level role. The words you said, walking level step, sound very close when spoken quickly, but the correct expression is working level. Pronunciation slowly, working, leviel. So you can say, I prefer a working level role, or I see myself as more of a working level staff member. Both sound natural in a company context. Another very common sentence would be, I'm more comfortable working at the working.
So you mean I could say I see myself more as a working level staff member.
David, you're very close, but the phrase needs a small correction. You said, open quote, working neighbor staff member, close quote. The correct phrase is working level staff member. So your sentence should be, I see myself more as a working level staff member. Let me say it slowly so it's easy to practice. I see myself more as a working level staff member. That sounds natural in a company context. You can also say a slightly simpler version. I see myself more in a working level role. Or another natural sentence, I see myself more as a hands-on person. All of these express the Korean idea of shinmusa. So if you want to say your idea clearly, you could say, honestly, I see myself more as a working level staff member. I'm more comfortable handling the practical work directly. That sounds very natural. And David, one more small encouragement. Many strong managers actually start as working level experts because they understand the real work. People trust them more when they become leaders. If you want, in our next practice, we can also learn how to say this idea in a very natural leadership sentence, something like, open quote, I've always been a hands-on person, but I'm willing to step up if the team needs me, close quote. But for now, your sentence is good. Would you like to try saying the sentence once more? I see myself more as a working level staff member.
No, GPT, I'm sorry. It's slipped my mind suddenly. So would you mind, if you don't mind, please say that one more time, please.
Of course, David. No
Say,
problem at all.
say
That
that
happens to
again.
everyone during speaking
I
practice.
mean, say that
I'll say
again.
it slowly. The sentence is, I see myself more as a working level staff member. Let's break it into small parts. I see myself more as a working level staff member. Now, the whole sentence together. I see myself more as a working level staff member. Very slowly, I see myself more as a working level staff member. You can also use a simpler version, which might feel easier to say, I see myself more in a working level role. I see myself more as a hands on person. All three express the Korean idea of shinmuja. If you want to explain your situation about the PM team leader role, you could say, honestly, I see myself more in a working level role. I'm more comfortable handling the practical work directly. All right, David, your turn. Try saying the sentence again.
mic test. Okay, okay, I got it. Okay. So you mean I could say, I see myself more as a working level staff member, not a team leader style. I see myself, when I see myself, more as a working level staff member instead of a team leader.
David, good practice. Your idea is clear. I'll just make very small adjustments so the sentence flows naturally. Your sentence was open quote, I see myself more as a working level staff member instead of a team leader. Close quote. That's already understandable. Like the only small thing is the hyphen and a smoother ending. You can say, I see myself more as a working level staff member rather than a team leader. Speak it slowly like this. I see myself more as a working level staff member rather than a team leader. Another very natural version is I see myself more as a working level person than a team leader. And if you want something even more conversational, I see myself more in a working level role than in a leadership role. All of these express Shinmuja very well. Your full idea could sound like this. Honestly, I see myself more as a working level staff member rather than a team leader. I'm more comfortable handling the practical work directly. That sounds natural and clear. And David, your speaking rhythm today is actually very good. You repeat, correct yourself, and continue. That's exactly how fluency grows. Before we finish this topic, let me ask you one interesting question for your English practice. If you really become the PM team leader in April, what do you think would be the biggest challenge for you? For example, managing people, making decisions, dealing with conflicts between departments, reporting to top management. Which one would be the hardest for you?
In my opinion, it's not on your list. I think my hardest challenge would be the customer's reputation. Do you understand? Can you imagine what reputation will on me? Can you imagine? Can you assume how our customer evaluate me? How our customer validate me? I'm not sure. I already had experiences about it. I mean, about the bad reputation. Nearly 8 years ago, I was a team leader. And at the time, it was really hard time. So I told my supervisor, I really want to quit the role of team leader because at the time, my hardest burden was the reputation of the customer. It made me really uncomfortable. It's not on your list.
David, I understand what you mean. Your idea is actually very clear. You were talking about the pressure of customer perception, how the customer evaluates you as the responsible leader. That can be a very heavy burden. Let me first help you adjust a few expressions so your meaning comes out clearly. You said, open quote, the customer's reputation, close quote. In English, we usually say the customer's evaluation of me, or how the customer sees me, or my reputation with the customer. Reputation is correct, but we usually say my reputation with the customer. You said, open quote, can you imagine what reputation will only, close quote. A clearer way to say this would be, can you imagine how the customer might evaluate me? Or can you imagine how the customer might see my performance? You said, open quote, how our customer validate me, close quote. The natural verb here is evaluate or assess, not validate. So we say how the customer evaluates me. Now, let me show you a natural version of what you were trying to say, keeping your idea and your feeling. You could say it like this. Honestly, the hardest challenge for me would be the customer's evaluation of me. As a team leader, the customer will judge my performance and my decisions. That kind of responsibility creates a lot of pressure for me. I actually experienced something similar about 8 years ago when I was a team leader. At that time, it was a very difficult period, and the pressure from the customer's expectations was very heavy. Because of that, I even told my supervisor that I wanted to step down from the team leader role. That explains your story very clearly. David, what you described is actually a very real challenge for PM leaders, especially in industries like yours, where customers are strict, quality issues are critical, communication with customers affects reputation. Many project leaders say the hardest pressure is external, from customers, not internal from the team. So your concern is very understandable. Let me give you one very useful phrase you can use in English when talking about this topic. The biggest pressure comes from how the customer evaluates our performance. Another good sentence is, as a project leader, my reputation with the customer is very important. David, I want to ask you one interesting follow-up question. When you felt that pressure 8 years ago, what was the situation? For example, was there a quality issue, a schedule delay, a customer complaint, a product defect problem? What exactly created that bad reputation situation with the customer at that time?
Customer complaint, especially for one man, especially for one customer. He, I don't like, I didn't like him very much. I hate, I hated him because he pushed me very hard, especially for my weakness, especially into my weakness. I think he has very bad mindset to make him, to make someone, to make, to put someone into bad position, bad situation for pleasant. I didn't like him very much. And you know what? I think I'm kind of a responsible person. So that customer, I believe that, I believed that, bad customer complaint made put our customer on bad position. And it seems I, I took too much responsible for it. That's why I wanted to quit team leader role, because I think I'm kind of a responsible person. I really don't, really didn't want to make our company in a bad position. I really wanted to up, improve our company, but it was really hard because of him.
David, I understand what you're trying to say. That kind of situation can feel very heavy, especially when you take responsibility seriously. Your message is clear: a difficult customer, strong pressure, and you felt personally responsible for the company's reputation. I'll just help you adjust a few expressions so your idea comes out more naturally in English without changing your meaning. First, a few small points. You said, open quote, especially for one man, close quote. In English, we usually say, especially one customer. You said, open quote, he pushed me very hard, close quote. That is actually a good expression. It means someone pressured you strongly. You said, open quote, especially into my weakness, close quote. A clearer way would be, he kept pointing out my weaknesses, or he kept pushing on my weak points. You said, open quote, for a pleasure, close quote. A more natural phrase is, as if he enjoyed it. You said, open quote, I took too much responsible, close quote. The correct form is, I took too much responsibility. Now let me show you a natural version of your story, keeping your feelings and your meaning. You could say it like this. About 8 years ago, when I was a team leader, there was a customer complaint situation. There was one particular customer I had to deal with, and honestly, I didn't like him very much. He pushed me very hard and kept pointing out my weaknesses. Sometimes it even felt like he enjoyed putting me in a difficult position. I'm the kind of person who takes responsibility very seriously. So when the customer complained, I felt a lot of pressure and responsibility for the situation. I didn't want the company to be in a bad position because of me. Because of that pressure, I even told my supervisor that I wanted to step down from the team leader role. That expresses your experience very clearly. David, what you described actually shows something important about your personality. You take responsibility deeply. That can feel painful in difficult situations, but it is also a strength in project management. Many PMs struggle because they don't take responsibility enough. Your challenge seems to be the opposite. You take too much responsibility on yourself. That's a very common pattern for conscientious people. Let me ask you something for your speaking practice. When that difficult customer pushed you hard 8 years ago, what did he usually complain about? For example, product quality, schedule delay, communication issues, engineering problems, project management issues. What was the main complaint from that customer?
Mm, okay, I got it. I'm sure I understand what you're trying to say. People answer your question. I would like to repeat your polished version one time. Because your polished version is very helpful for my real life situation. About 8 years ago, when I was a team leader, there was a customer complaint situation. Customer complaint situation. There was a customer complaint situation. There was one particular customer I had to deal with, and honestly, I didn't like him very much. He pushed me very hard. He pushed me very hard and kept pointing out my weaknesses. He kept pointing out my weaknesses. Sometimes it even felt, sometimes it even felt like he enjoyed putting me in a difficult position. Sometimes it even felt like he enjoyed putting me in a difficult position. Sometimes it even felt like he enjoyed putting me in a difficult position. I'm kind of a, how many times have I told you, kind of I'm the kind of person who takes responsibility, take, takes, who takes this, I'm the kind of, I'm the kind of person, I'm the kind of person who takes responsibility very seriously. So, so when the customer complained, I felt a lot of pressure and responsibility for the situation. I didn't want the company to be in a bad position because of me. I didn't want the company, I didn't want the company to be in a bad position because of me. Because of that pressure, because of the pressure, I even told my supervisor that I wanted to step down. I wanted to step down from the team leader role. I even told my supervisor that I wanted to step down. I wanted to step down from the team leader role. And for your question, it's leadership. He complained about my leadership and the knowledge of automotive experience. Do you understand? I'm com I'm came from a mobile company, so honestly speaking, I didn't have enough experience for automotive industry, and he knew it. He kept it. I mean, I think he noticed that I think he noticed my weakness about the knowledge of automotive experience. So so my answer would be, my leadership and the experience in automotive division.
David, first I want to say something. The way you repeated the passage step by step was excellent practice. That's exactly how people build fluency, repeating, adjusting, and strengthening the sentence in their mouth. You did very well. Your story and your meaning were clear. I'll just fix a few small parts so your answer sounds natural in English, but I will keep your structure. First, two small language points. You said, open quote, I'm the kind of person who takes the responsibility very seriously. Close quote. In English, we usually drop the, so it becomes, I'm the kind of person who takes responsibility very seriously. You said, open quote, I came from a mobile company. Close quote. The correct form is, I came from the mobile industry, or my background was in the mobile industry. You said, open quote, he noticed my weakness about the knowledge of automotive experience, close quote. A smoother way is, he noticed my weakness in automotive experience. Now let me show you a clean version of your final answer, keeping your meaning. You could say, the main complaint from that customer was about my leadership and my experience in the automotive industry. At that time, my background was mainly in the mobile industry. So honestly, I didn't have enough experience in the automotive field. That customer noticed my weakness in automotive knowledge and kept pushing me on that point. That explains the situation very clearly. David, what you described is actually a very common situation when someone moves industries. For example, mobile, automotive, consumer electronics, automotive, software, hardware. Customers in the automotive industry are often very strict about experience. But the interesting thing is this, you said that happened 8 years ago. 8 years is a very long time in a career. So today, you are no longer someone without automotive experience. In fact, you now have many years of automotive project experience. So the weakness that customer pushed 8 years ago is probably not the same weakness today. Let me ask you something interesting for your speaking practice. If you met that same difficult customer today after 8 more years of experience, how do you think the conversation would be different? Do you think you would feel more confident? You would respond differently? Or maybe you would handle the pressure better? Tell me what you think, David. I'm listening.
Everything, I'm sorry. I have to go. Unfortunately, I have to join important meeting soon. So you know what? It's very interesting. I'm very interesting about our conversation about my life, but I have to go. I'm sorry. Get some rest if you can, and have a great weekend. Bye for now.
David, no problem at all. Work comes first. I'm glad we had this conversation too. It was very meaningful. Before you go, just one tiny correction so your closing sounds very natural. You said, open quote, I'm very interesting about our conversation. Close quote. The correct form is, I'm very interested in our conversation. So your closing could be,
I'm very
I'm
interested.
very interested in our conversation about my life, but I have to go now because I need to join an important meeting. Also, you said, open quote, catch on next if you can. Close quote. A more natural expression would be, let's catch up next time, or let's continue next time. So a smooth ending would sound like this. Unfortunately, I have to join an important meeting now. Let's continue next time. Have a great weekend. Very natural. David, good luck with your meeting today and also with thinking about the PM team leader situation this weekend. That's an important moment in your career. Have a good meeting and enjoy your weekend.
Okay, enjoy your weekend too. Bye for now.